Okay, here we are with the BDS leaf springs that I got used. You can see these are the fronts here. They don't have the shim in the top. These are the rears for the pinion angle. You can see they have the angled shim there and there. So what I'm doing is I'm removing all these worn out, just busted and tattered bushings. Here you can see this one wore out, just completely thrashed. So I'm taking all those out. I'm going to put in some more off-road, mountain off-road greasable bushings and shackles I got there. I'm going to put those on. First of all, we need to sand these down, get some of the rust off, get some of the grease, and we're going to respray these black. That's the next project. Okay, another thing I wanted to show you here is the Quadratec Nitro shocks that we got. We ended up going with the 7.0s right there. The way that these part numbers work are for the 3 to 4 inch lift. So you have, this is the part number either for the front or the back, and then the other part number here. So you need 2 of each, 2 for the front, 2 for the back, and that's for your 3 to 4 inch lift in the front and 3 to 6 inch in the rear is the way that those lay out. What we also have is the Rubicon Express brackets, YJ rear brackets for, you see some of the, put those bushings in there from the leaf springs, but these are the shackles for the shock mount to extend the shocks away from the axle. So the axle would be right here, coming out this way, and it just, you see it pushes the shock further out than underneath the axle. So we'll put those on when we go to put the shocks on after we get the leaves all cleaned up and ready to go on the YJ as well. So a lot to go on with the suspension, but like I said, the Jeep itself already had a 3.5 inch super lift suspension on it, and so a lot of the things that you get with that suspension, the drop arm, pitman arm, and the braided stainless steel brake lines, things like that of that nature, the transfer case drop, those are already on the vehicle. So we're just adding these upgraded suspension parts with the leaf springs from BDS suspension, and then the shocks from Quadratec. So you can see the old BDS tag is really ripped up and destroyed there. Here's one here that you can see for the front, and then here's the rear right here. So BDS suspension all the way around should give us probably around 3 inches of lift with the spring, the leaf springs, and then the mountain off-road shackles are a 5 1/8 inch lift with the greasable shackles. So all in all, it's a lot to put on, but it's gonna make it ride way better. All right, here we go. We got these all cleaned up, rust off of them. Got them sprayed with some primer, and I'm gonna do some black paint next. So you can see they are ready to go for some paint. Let those dry, spray them black, let that dry for a few days, and then we'll put the shackle bushings in. So here we are with the new springs. We're putting the new leaf springs in. As you can see, I got the shackles that are kind of being held in place right here. We still need to weld in the frame repair piece, but I wanted to get the front of the leaf put in right here just to support it, and then we can drop this lower piece down and fix the frame. And as you see here, what we're doing is we're getting the frame prepped for the repair piece, and we're grinding it down to bare metal. We put the metal piece up there, tacked it in. You want to tack it into place where you need it before you finish the welds. You can see here, this is the finished weld piece. It's all welded in and ready for paint. This shot here gives you a good look at the boomerang shackles that were put on along with the BDS springs. You can see that we've removed the track bar bracket here on the driver's side. allowed the hard brake lines to be stretched across the axle. The Quadratec shocks have been installed with the relocation brackets that you see there to give clearance for the shocks in the axle. You can see with adding the boomerang shackles and the new springs, it gave me about a 2-inch gain and lift in the rear. Still has quite a bit of a rake without the front leaf springs installed yet on the Jeep. So after that, we got the fuel tank installed with the new fuel pump, removed the old fuel pump sending unit. And with the fuel tank lifted back up and put everything back together, it really came together nice. You can see there the rear frame that's been repaired. Got the new hard brake lines, fuel lines, the shackles, the more shackles, and the BDS springs. The hard brake lines were put in across the axle there. No track bar. This Jeep will not have track bars front or rear. Put the Quadratec shocks in with the relocation brackets, a new fuel filter. Now, if you remember when we first got the Jeep, the skid plate on the fuel tank was really thrashed in pieces. Put a new one on there, painted it up. It turned out really nice, I think. So the moment of truth now is to see if it runs.